Hey, it's Shane with GotRom.com. I want to talk about wrist mobility basics. So a lot of people notice when they're doing push-ups, they're in this position, and they notice they automatically want to kind of turn their hands out, which is a dead giveaway that you are missing a little bit of wrist mobility. Or maybe they're in a handstand and they get this pinching feeling here, or maybe they're in crow pose in yoga. Whatever the case may be, if you're finding you get a pinching sensation in your wrists and you want a little bit more wrist mobility, here's a couple simple options. So I like this tool, the stick. It's pretty cheap, you can get it on Amazon. And you can work on the tissue of your wrist flexors and your wrist extensors. So the front and the back of your forearm basically. And if you work on this tissue upstream of the wrist on this side and upstream of the wrist on this side, often that will ease some of that pinching sensation that you get. I also have a video where I show how you can lay a barbell, a weighted barbell across it like this and kind of steamroll this side, and you can also steamroll this side. This side will be a little bit more sensitive, so make sure your fingers aren't going numb. But if you don't have a barbell and you have this stick tool, here's what you're going to do. You're going to try to hook this underneath your knee and then go like this, and you can kind of hold your own ankle, and then you get some really good leverage and pressure. And I find the worst spots are up here by the elbow joint. So you're here and you kind of really dig in there. Keep the arms straight if you can. You'll find if you bend it, the tissue kind of hides and you don't get the densest, junkiest tissue. So kind of really get in there and massage like this. You can work down lower by the wrist too, but I find up here it's probably the worst of it. You can also flip the hand around and get kind of more towards the medial elbow here. That gets kind of ugly and junky. So you steamroll all this stuff out. You can also kind of hold your wrist like this, and then as I'm pulling the stick up towards me, I extend my hand open like this. If you have a good training partner or a friend or a massage therapist, you can also lay your hand on a table and have them use their thumbs to kind of pin this way, and then you stretch like that. Or on the other side, they pin it down with their thumb, and then you lower your wrist and they glide their thumb up that way. It gets really, really gnarly up here. So either use a barbell or your friend's thumbs or the stick on the tissue on both sides, and then do these basic stretches. These are from gymnastics, kind of your basic gymnastics wrist prep series. So you can come like this, and I kind of lean forward like I'm doing a planche, or I'm leaning forward in a push-up position. And then I contract my hands into the ground for a couple seconds, and then I release, maybe go a little farther, contract, release, go a little bit farther. You can also get your wrists in this direction by going like this, and I rotate my elbow pit forward, and then I lean to one side, contracting, relaxing, lean to the other side, get both your wrists. Or a stretch that I like even more for this side is to hold my hand behind my back, again rotate my elbow pit forward, and then I pull up on my own hand, and then I'm contracting by flicking my wrist into my own hand. So I hold my breath, flick my wrist into my own hand, and I'm resisting myself, and then I relax and I kind of take up the slack. It really helps to kind of externally rotate your arm while you're doing this. So I'm not just kind of here bending my wrist up, I'm pulling my elbow pit through and externally rotating, and that really changes how you feel the stretch. And then I breathe and relax, or contract, relax. The other stretch that you can get, so that was for this side, but if you want to stretch this side, my other favorite is to point your fingers back at yourself, get your wrists firmly down on the ground, and then lean back like so. Lean back until you feel a stretch, and then breathe, relax, take up the slack, or contract. I'm pulling my fingers into the ground, which activates all this. I'm kind of doing this motion. So I'm pulling, 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 and relax, take up the slack, pull, 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 hold your breath, relax, take up the slack. So if you will do tissue work on this side, tissue work on this side, stretch this side and stretch this side, you'll find that you've freed up a lot of your wrist range of motion, and handstands and push-ups and planches should feel a little bit more comfortable. So the last thing, besides just self-massage and stretching, is building a little bit of strength in the wrists. And the two kind of traditional ways in gymnastics that I've done is your basic fingertip push-ups, which is just going to kind of build general wrist strength, so you can go on the tips of your fingers and then do push-ups just like you normally would. Or the other way that they do it is to go on the back of the wrists and get in the push-up position and then do your push-ups like that. So those are a little bit more advanced. I wouldn't jump straight into those if you haven't prepped the wrists. You can even kind of do push-ups from your knees if that's where you're at, or just do holds, But after you've softened up the tissue, after you've stretched it, you want to strengthen it so you have both full range of motion and strength in your wrists. So give all those ideas a shot.
Yeah.